Quick note before we start. This video walks through JobTread's legacy selections experience, available to customers who joined prior to February 2026. JobTread now offers a new and improved selections experience with a streamlined photo-centered design. If you'd like to learn more about the updated version, you can find the link to the new tutorial in the description below. If your customers make their selections before signing the final contract for the job, and you'd like to include their selected items on that final contract, then you can use pre-contract selections as your selections workflow. This is often the case if you have a design phase prior to the actual contract. So we're going to leverage the Selections tab in a job to make this happen. However, before we head to the Selections tab, I'd like to set the stage within our budget. Here in our budget for the job, we have our base package laid out for this kitchen remodel. However, none of this was signed for quite yet. We did not do a proposal with a contract because we're not seeing a budgeted cost here in our job costing section. Your budgeted cost column is going to show you your actual budget that is approved by your customer that you can work with for this job. So the important thing here is that whenever we're doing pre-contract selections, we exclude those selections from securing a budget in our job until they're on the final contract. Therefore, we're going to use a special feature in our selection documents to make sure that we're not locking in that cost before it's too early. Let's start by heading into our Selections tab. Here's where we can build out our selections for the job. We're going to click plus Selections document to create the first document that our selections are going to go on. Now, if you are a home builder, you're probably going to have a selections document for each room in the house. So you could have this one be your kitchen document, and then you can include all your kitchen selections on it. Now, if you're more of a remodeler, and let's say in this case, we're just remodeling the kitchen, then I can have my selection documents broken out in any way that I choose. So in this case, we're going to start with just our appliance selections. So let's go ahead and type that in, appliance selections, and I'm going to add in my base appliance package as well as any upgrades to this document. Now, if you would want a more thorough walkthrough on how to create predefined selections or write-in selections, definitely check out our other videos on that. For now, I'm going to really leverage my catalog to pull items into this selections document. So I will click plus group to add a new selections group. We'll hit new group, and now I'll call this my base appliance package. And then it already is allowing selections. And in this case, I want my customer to choose one option here. So I'm going to make sure my minimum is 1 and the maximum selections allowed is also 1. All right, we'll close that out, and now I can add my items to this. So I'll click plus item, and I'm going to pull an item that's already in my catalog. In fact, I can pull them all at once. So we'll click from catalog, and now you'll see that I'm searching my own catalog here, and I can then find my different appliance packages that I want to offer them. So we'll go ahead and do Maytag. Perfect. We'll also find our Samsung. And I'm going to look for my Fisher and Paykel ones. There it is. And we'll click add. There they are. So now I have my 3 options listed for my customer, and it says select one option. Now, because I'm going over my appliance selections in general, I'm also going to add some appliance upgrades to this document. So we will then click plus group, and I already have an appliance upgrade group in my catalog. So I'm going to search with groups, and I will find that appliance upgrades option. There it is. We will load it in, click add, and now you'll see below my appliance package, I have appliance upgrades. Now you're going to notice that it says select 0 to 5 options, and that is because I said that 0 were required and 5 are allowed. So my customer can choose as many upgrades as they want. Okay, that looks great. You're also going to notice that I have a write-in item in here as well, so my customer can write in an appliance that they maybe find on their own. And whenever we have a write-in item, it just means it's an individual cost item, and we have chosen allows customer write-in. And in this case, we want to make sure that that cost depends on the customer's input because we don't know what item that they're going to choose quite yet. That looks good. All right, so now we have our base appliance package along with our upgrades, so we can hit create. Okay, great. So let's go ahead and expand this appliance selections document here. And one thing to keep in mind, because this is a pre-contract selection, we want to make sure that we exclude this from the budget. That means that we're not going to lock in a budget with this selection document, and we can then add it to a contract to get that final signature. So I'm going to scroll down and you'll see that I have an option to exclude from budget. Now, if you're doing pre-contract selections, this is the most important step here. So we'll turn on exclude from budget. All right, now you're also going to see you can attach any additional files, photos, and videos and have a full-on messaging conversation with your customer. Now we're ready to send it off. So let's click the send button. And we do want their signature, so we'll require that, and we can have our full email message in here, and we'll hit send. Wonderful. So now your customer is going to see that they have a pending document. Let's put that on hold for a minute and let's create one more. So I'll click plus selection document, and in this case, I'm going to add flooring selections. All right, almost. And then we'll add in a group that I already have pre-created from my catalog. So we'll click plus group and choose from my catalog. Now you're going to notice that here in my catalog, I can search for the group I'm looking for. You can expand to see all the details. That looks good. And I want to then go ahead and add this group. Wonderful. So now I have my flooring options, but notice that it's just showing per square foot here. So you can click on each individual item and change the quantity to, let's say, 200 square feet. That works just fine. Or a little shortcut for you is to go behind the scenes of the document by clicking Edit Item Details. This allows you to make changes to multiple items at one time. So here I can enter the quantity 200, or I could even select all of my items and choose to set a quantity to 200 altogether. All right, so we'll close our item details, go back in front of our document here, and you'll see that all of the changes were made. Now, maybe I want a different due date for this individual selection, so we're gonna say Friday of next week, and we will go ahead and create it. All right, again, we can expand this, and the most important step for pre-contract selections is to make sure that it is excluded from the budget. That looks great. I might also choose to show or hide different levels of information by clicking on the little icons throughout the document and saving our changes. When we're ready, we're going to send this out to our customer. So we'll click send, and we do want a signature on this one, so we will send it off. And now you'll notice that we have two pending selection documents. And there is a little indicator here that says that they are indeed excluded from the budget. If you had forgotten that step, don't you worry, you just go ahead, reopen it, and you can always toggle this on or off at any time to lock it in the budget or not. All right, so let's go ahead as our customer and let's enter in our selections. So if we are the customer right now, we're going to review and submit the selections in each of these documents. So here I'll go ahead and choose this middle option, and then we'll also pick that range hood, the wine fridge, the beverage cooler. Great. If I would pick this upgrade write-in, then it would become a back and forth process for the write-ins. So again, if you're going to be using write-ins, I definitely encourage you to check out that write-in selections video. All right, here we will sign away as the customer, approve, and now their choices are shown on this document and they are ready to go. All right, let's also get the flooring selections in here. All right, they are going to review. Maybe they want hardwood, that looks great. They'll sign away, approve, and now you'll see that we have our hardwood flooring selection. And when we head back to the budget at this point, we will see, let's collapse these groups, that both our appliance package and appliance upgrades are listed, as well as our flooring. So all the selections made in that selections tab are now added to your budget, so you can then add them to the final contract. You'll also notice that we have not locked in the budgeted cost from any of those because we excluded them from the budget on the document. All right. So at this point, I can go ahead and send a final contract out to my customer. So we'll click plus document on the top. I'll choose my customer order type called proposal. And now I do want all of these included in this final contract. So we'll click Create, and you'll notice that I have my base package. I also can show or hide as much detail as I want. And then you'll also notice that I have my appliance package, my appliance upgrades, and my flooring selections. Now, in this case, I am not going to exclude this from the budget. This is the final contract, and I want to lock in that budget with all the selections that were made. So I can send this off to the customer, and the customer will review. That looks great. They will sign away, approve. And you'll see now in our budget, if we scroll to the right, we have officially locked in the full budgeted cost for all of the items, including the base items as well as the selection items here. Now, one quick tip. If you're going to always be using pre-contract selections, then I encourage you to edit your selections document template in your settings to always exclude it from the budget. Therefore, you don't have to include that step every time that you send out selections. Let's check that out. We can head into our JobTread settings, then we'll go to our document templates, and we'll find that customer order template called selection. Here you can scroll down to the bottom and you can choose exclude from budget. Now, if you save that, every single document template that you create with your selections on it then will be excluded from the budget, so you don't have to remember that toggle every single time you create those documents. If you have any questions, please reach out to your success manager or email support@jobtread.com and we'll be sure to help.